call the meeting to order. The Laredo Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Committee meeting. Today is Thursday, April 6th, and it's 8:35 in the morning. We begin with doing our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
And now we have a moment of silence. Okay. We will continue with roll call. Raymond Camina.
Present.
Gabriel Castillo.
Here.
Judith Gutierrez. Blasita Lopez. Present. Omar Minja. Chalo Otero.
Here.
Jorge Luis Quijano.
Here.
Marisa Ramirez. Present. And Magali Rodriguez.
Judy Gutierrez just arrived.
Thank you for that.
All right.
The court is now in order.
It's very Judy Gutierrez.
It's okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's the weather or something.
I love the weather, yeah, but the traffic was interesting this morning.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
The committee, we have,
Good to see you.
She was our interim chair.
thank
Last one.
you.
I was.
She put me into it.
One of our members are asking for excused absence for today's meeting, which is the April 6th meeting, which is Magali Rodriguez. She may have to be traveling in reference to work or flight delays. And then Mr. Camino will be leaving just a little bit early at 9:15 for medical appointment. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve.
Second.
Motion carries. And now, do we have any public or citizen comments to bring to our meeting today?
I have 3 guests, left to right. Joanne, my wife,
Welcome to our meeting.
That's the real one.
born in Kosciuszko, Texas.
Go ahead, honey, who are you?
CJ, my neighbor from Portland, Oregon. And Ethel, my other neighbor, born in Philadelphia. So it's really a convention and visitors bureau.
Any citizen,
And I'm a New Mexican.
any comments from?
I'd like to make a comment that I hope you'll find great. We invited CJ DeWall here because he became a sudden Laredoman because his father passed. We're going to share some personal. Is that okay? When his father passed in January, at the time he and his mother were living a few houses down from us, and we got to know his parents. But his father passed, but then his mother took a fall, and this wonderful new Laredoan stepped up to come to Laredo from Oregon to be a part of this community and take care of his mother, make sure everything was done while grieving his father. So it was a terrific challenge, but you know, we were talking to him last night and we said, this would be a great place. Tell him you're ready, all your,
Yes, I think I'm acclimated. It was 76 degrees yesterday, and I was freezing to death.
but also all the steps you've taken to be a Laredoan. Tell him.
I've got my license plates and voter registration. And I just have to drive
Isn't that awesome?
somewhere to
That's the
get
most
the driver's
important
license.
thing of your
But,
voter registration.
you know, who knows, one day he may be welcome on your board. Thank you.
But thank you.
Thank you, welcome.
Welcome.
He drank the water.
We don't have a choice.
And then moving on to our approval of our minutes from the March 2nd meeting, which is on page 3. Do we have any changes or corrections or updates to do to the minutes?
If there be none, I move that we approve the minutes as
I
read.
second.
Motion carries, the minutes have been approved. And then moving into the review of the financial statements, the finance department detail, it's on page 6.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have page 6, 7, and 8. In page 8, you can see the tax collections. As always, we have seen an increase in the tax collections from previous years. And as always, we continue to be conservative in the way that we use our budget. As you know, hotel occupancy tax has many regulations on how it can be used. And it's also shared with third-party funding, with parks, other uses for the fund. So we want to make sure that there's enough to go around. Good. And we're already working on our budget for next fiscal year. So Monica has been hard at work tallying and working on all the numbers, and we'll be reviewing everything for our 23-24 budget.
So this 125% is over last year?
It's over over our forecast.
Okay.
So the collections versus the forecast are, that's what you see. And, well, here it's the collections are a month behind. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do we have to approve the treasurer's report? Or no?
No,
Finances?
no, it's
Okay,
just
got it.
informative.
Okay, so if we don't have any questions on the financials or the occupancy collections, we're moving on to the March activity reports. Eileen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And we have our activity report, and as you know, this is a summary of the different activities that the department participated in. Our marketing staff and Casa Lado staff worked on a media fan tour. So this is a familiarization tour. Reina and Beatriz and Nora and who else was involved? The whole office, because it's few of us now. So the whole office was involved in welcoming 13 media outlets from Monterrey, Saltillo, and Mexico City. The group included TV, magazine, key outlets in Mexico like TV Azteca, Multimedios, Horizonte, Quien. Quien is a very famous, very well-known lifestyle magazine in Mexico, in all of Mexico, and they were here with us. Food and Travel was here, so we had good representation. And this time we had a partnership with Greyhound. Greyhound is growing in northern Mexico, and so they were very interested in participating with the CVB. They sponsored the transportation of the group from Monterrey to Laredo. The only thing we had to do is fly a couple of people from Mexico City from the media outlets that came from there. But everybody gathered in Monterrey, and Reina, please interrupt me if I'm missing anything. And they gathered here and they had a great time. We focused on attractions and places for events. They visited the arena, they visited other venues, and of course at the end they had some time for shopping. We can't let them go without the shopping. They wouldn't let them go without shopping. So it was a great opportunity. And combined with this, we also had an opportunity to go do, while that was happening, so the media, Mexican media was here. I was in Canada with the Canadian media, touching base with them, making sure that they know all about our opportunities for Winter Texans. There's a lot, especially in Vancouver, there was a lot of interest for our bird watching options, our bird watching festival, everything that we have to offer to that market, the ecotourism. So it was a very interesting combination that we had. Reverse Mexico sales mission also. Reina had a chance to travel with, and both the trip that I did to Canada and Reina's trip to Grapevine with the Reverse Mexico Sales Mission are through and working in connection with the Office of the Governor. They are a great resource when it gives us a better opportunity to meet with people, agencies, media outlets that maybe we couldn't meet just by ourselves. So partnering with the Office of the Governor gives us a great opportunity for that.
Are they more open to border communities now, more so
Yes.
than they used to be?
Yes,
Good.
and so
Glad
we
to hear
had,
that.
yeah, actually to Canada it was El Paso.
Mhm.
It was a good representation from the state because we had El Paso and then obviously Laredo. From Central Texas, it was San Antonio and Fredericksburg, and then Lubbock. So it was a good representation of different areas in the
I'm surprised the
state.
valley wasn't down. The valley,
I know.
Yeah, I was good. So when we go to these trips with the state, obviously the main opportunity is to represent your community. But because we're also representing the state, we cannot take ownership of the region.
Oh.
And
okay.
so I was representing this in Laredo as the beginning of South Texas. And so El Paso was representing El Paso as the gateway to West Texas and Big Bend. And Lubbock for the Panhandle. And so we cannot do the hill country.
So you represent Texas all.
Exactly.
That's good.
So
Right.
if people were very open, they're very aware of what's going on here. Alberta is very similar to Texas in different ways, and so they feel very connected. And so it was a really good opportunity.
At the store, we get a lot of winter Texans from Zapata that come to Laredo.
That come, yeah. So we want to catch them. The idea of going and starting to work with the Canadian market is to catch them at the source. And so we want to make sure that we catch them before they leave Canada and the northern states, so that they know that maybe we don't have these infrastructure to host them the whole winter, but we have attractions, we have shopping, we have golf, we have events, we have everything that they can, they would be able to.
Drive in and take advantage.
Exactly.
because when
And
we
in the way in, on the way out,
Yes.
or during their
we
stay.
get a lot of them on the way out, when they go back up north, they stop
Yes.
in Laredo to buy all the goodies.
Yes.
So we get a lot of them, at least 7 to 9 of them.
Exactly, so we wanna make sure that they have us top of mind even before they
And
leave
they all have to come
their,
to Laredo to
there's-
eat, to dine, to do all the
But you have a
events.
great assortment, you know, that they can,
To
you know,
purchase.
buy at your store, you know, because they don't have to go to Mexico.
And I do see a lot of them at the sister city events too.
yes. So that's our, the thought behind our efforts.
And it's good because I know two people that brought down people for the sister city event, for that event. They don't come to Zapata to live, but they told them about the event, so they
Yes.
come down.
And we're also working, there is a person in the valley, her name is Katie Collier. And she's, about 10, 15 years ago, she started working with Winter Texas. And now, now she has everything from a magazine, an event. She has real estate now, she has cruises, tours. She has a whole industry
Really
now.
expanded her
It's,
business.
yes, definitely. And so we're working with her in other ideas of how we can attract people to South Texas, and of course, coming through our community, our destination. So we're trying to expand on that market, definitely.
Well, that's good, and I think that, do you get any feedback at some point? Do you, I know that these trips are meant to attract or to expose our region, our area. At what point do you say, well, we were a success, they were listening?
Before we didn't have the necessary tools to do that, and now we do.
Well, good.
And so, further into the report, I'll talk a little bit more about the new tool that we have to monitor that type of response. And
Yeah, because it's nice to say, we went and we did, and we, but okay, so.
now we're seeing
Now you have to see, how
the fruits of that.
successful, your trip was, and.
Yeah, and so it's been very interesting. I included the report for 2022 for this new tool that we have, and I can jump onto that actually. So on page 14, We are working with a company called Sartico, and what they do is they analyze visitor behavior. And in that visitor behavior, they know, based on our wonderful devices, they know exactly where, not our address, but what city we live in, where we coming from, where we work and where we live. And so based on that, they can tell the origin. So if I travel to somewhere else, they can know I'm from Laredo and I'm traveling to, for example, Vancouver. And they know, okay, she came in flying, right? Because I got to the airport there, or I flew to Calgary and then flew to Vancouver. They can see a little bit of information of how I got there. And they can also see how I moved around the community. And so, for example, we know that and you can see it, I'll send it to y'all by email. But our top market in Texas is San Antonio. So 12% of all of our visitors from Texas come from San Antonio. And Houston and Zapata is another one, Austin. So even if, for example, we saw that people from Coahuila, they go to San Antonio, but on the way back, they stay in Laredo and they shop. They move around, so we can see how they behave within the destination. In Mexico, our top origin, and this is very, it's broken down by cities, so most of the top cities are Monterrey and Metroplex, but it's Monterrey, Piedras Negras, Nuevo Laredo, and this is 2022. When I ran the report for March, it had already changed, and Nuevo Laredo is not one of the top ones. So now it's another location in Coahuila. So we can see how it changes depending on the month, depending on the time of the year. So we can monitor the behavior, and we can choose, for example, right now we don't have people coming directly from Canada. If we start seeing the change, then we can start monitoring who's coming, how are they behaving in the destination. So now we have the tools to know if the efforts that we're making in a certain location with a certain market are beneficial to our destination.
So when you said 2022, is this like for the entire year?
This is for the entire year.
A picture of
Yes.
the entire year. So
Yes. And
Excuse me, but I see that it's all the cities, but I don't see other states. Is there a reason why the other states are not included?
this report was only Texas and Mexico, but I can run the report for other states. I can tell you that our top states obviously is Texas, but our second is Colorado. So a lot of people from Denver are coming from Denver, Colorado to Laredo. So we can run the report in different ways.
Do
Is there
you
a
know?
particular reason, or?
Yeah. Do we know what the
We don't.
shopping or-
Well, okay, so I'm glad you said that. Everybody, no matter where they coming, their main interest, their main activity is shopping. And we're talking shopping, all kinds of shopping. We're talking Walmarts, we're talking H-E-B's, we're talking San Bernardo, we're talking Mall del Norte is a key location where everybody gathers, and then from there, they go out. And outlet. So we can see that shopping, every way we run the report, no matter where they're coming, we can see all the points bouncing off Walmart. From the hotel to Walmart, from the hotel to the outlets, from the hotel, especially the band that goes from Mall del Norte to the outlet is the thickest one. It's very interesting.
Why would they come from away from every, I mean, they, obviously they have a Walmart and they have all what we're, why would they come here?
There's two things that when I started drilling down, and I was talking, because we have a monthly meeting with the company, and they were showing me this report, and for example, we see that we have a lot of people coming from Dallas and Houston that fly to Laredo, which makes sense, right? We have the two flights. But they go, in their behavior in the community, they all go to West Laredo. which is where all the warehouses are. So we think that is mostly truck drivers, business related, because they go during the day to West Laredo, and then they go to hotels, and then they go shopping. They do their regular things here in the community, which include going to Walmart, going to H-E-B, that's the way they're entertaining during their time in Laredo. So one of the things that it shows us is we need to make a better effort in showing them that there's more in Laredo than just shopping. That's one of the things. Two, that we have a market, and this is information that we're sharing with our agencies so that they can help us tweak our message. So this is all gonna be related to, it's gonna come back into how we can almost real time analyze our market and how it's behaving. And so we know that our business traveler is very important for us. We already know that, but now we know a little bit more about their behavior. People that are coming from Dallas are the ones that are spending the most money in our community. So even though we have a higher number of people from San Antonio, the people can come from Dallas have a higher spending, and that's on page 16. So if you see the top, it says San Antonio, and the top column is visitors, percentage total. The second is visitor spending.
I just wanna say that it's available full color on your email.
Okay.
I didn't get my packet for some reason. I don't know what happened. Oh, I was looking for it.
I did, but I
What if
didn't
you could
copy
send
it.
it to me
I
again?
copied it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
So when you're saying top, this is something we found out was very deceiving for us as a bank. When we're talking about percentages, we were saying, 50% of, of whatever we have on our group, buy this product. Well, then we find out the group that we're surveying was 100 people. So how accurate is that, because out of the 100 people, so go back to what you're saying, how many people are actually, I think that's a problem, and that's not because I'm so smart, because my boss is so smart, and he's the one who asked, he said, well, how many people are, good question, there's only 50% are going for this product. Well, like we said something the other day, that, the survey that we did, people didn't like the color red in our color. He said, oh, well, that's interesting, because red is the color that stands out, blah, blah, blah. How many people did we survey for that? Well, the survey had also like 35 people. So 35 people, you're listening to 35 people that don't like the color red. That's not a real full survey. So that goes back to my question here. How many of these people?
on page 17, at the end, it has the sample size reference. So for visitor device count, sample size is 46,000. For
46,000?
Yes. For card holder is 575. And so that's the amount of devices that they are tracking, exactly, that they're able to see.
So 575 are using,
500, so for visitor device, so everything that relates to visitation and related to behavior in the community, that is the sample size, 46,000. Now, when it comes down to visitor spending, it changes a little bit because of Mexican laws. Mexican laws do not allow us to track the visitor spending from Mexican nationals. They have very stringent laws in terms of privacy. And so you're gonna see in all of our reports that the number of card holders are tracked are way less because it's only for the US, not Mexico. So that is something that when we were looking for different tools, at the beginning, everybody was doing this based on cardholder information. Before other companies like Sardico came in with cell phone information, they were doing it with cardholder information, and nobody could track Mexico. And so that's why before we hadn't purchased any of these reports. Now that it's made with a cell phone, it's a little bit different because now they can give us more information on the behavior of the visitor based on the cell phone, and the visitor spending is just an add-on.
so the 46,000 that you're talking about here is for 2022?
This is for the 2022 report.
Okay.
Every time we run one of these reports, it has a number of devices that are,
And the
the sample size.
46,000 is, because you said they didn't include other states. This report does not include other states. So this 46,000 does not include other states?
No, it's just for this report. So every time we run a report, it gives us a sample size of that specific report.
Okay, so then this is 46,000 foreign
For this,
visitors
for 2022,
and Texas,
for Mexico and Texas.
Mexico and Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
Only.
Mhm. Okay. So it also includes a summary of information on the STR reports that the hotels work with. And so you can see the occupancy, how it's been changing, the ADR, which is the average daily rate, that's on page 16, and the demand by month on page 17, depending on the information that the hotels provide to the Texas State Controller's Office. So soon, we're gonna be able to add to this report also the occupancy, ADR, and demand of Airbnbs. So that's another thing we're adding. We're working with another company called Key Data to include that information in this report also.
Do you have numbers of Airbnbs in Laredo?
We are about to get those. Hopefully by next month, we can already report on those.
Is there a lot of?
Yeah.
It grew exponentially, summer of last year. So we were having, we had less than 100 before summer of last year. After the summer of last year, it went into the 200s, 250, just during July. Because of Pony, we had the perfect storm, and I think we talked a little bit about this in previous meetings, that we're gonna have the same situation this year, where we had Pony, Sister Cities, and other things happening at the same time. And that is just with Pony, we go beyond the number of rooms that we have as inventory in the destination. So Pony requires more than the 4,000 rooms that we have.
Yeah,
And
I was
that's
asked the
plus
question, why do you
Sister
have so
Cities.
many events at one time? Because you don't have the occupancies and hotels and the restaurants, I mean, they all go berserk, because
Yeah,
they can't accommodate.
just Pony creates that situation. And so that is just one tournament. Last
How
year,
long is it for?
it's a week.
Oh, I thought it was 2 weeks.
It's because there's two different ones. So the big one, well, we call the big pony, it's,
It's a horse.
That one is- that one is the softball, and it can be from 80 to 100 teams. So that is when everything goes, when we have, beyond the inventory. There's people staying in other, even communities that are closer, Freer, Cotula, other communities around Laredo. And last year, we had it at the same time as Sister Cities, which it's good and not so good. It was good because the people from Pony ended up going to Sister Cities, and so they saw, they participated in the event. The other Pony, which is Little Pony, is baseball, and it's just, I think it's 2 categories, so it's not as big. And that one is in August. So the big Pony is in July, the Little Pony is in August. We don't.
Sister Cities is in July.
In July. We don't host, the big Pony every year, softball. We don't host it. The first time we hosted it was 2017, I believe. 2017, 2018, and then, we didn't have it obviously during the pandemic, and then another.
Do they decide, in the pony league, do they decide where they're gonna be going to play?
They do,
And they've been picking Laredo?
yes, because of the
Because of the weather? It's a very hot July.
Yeah, well, they travel around, so they're used to the weather. I was very impressed the first time they came, I saw the little girls playing 100 degrees. It's very, yeah, I don't know how they do it. Yes.
Just curiosity, what's the reception you get from the hotels from all the hard work that y'all do to generate sales for Laredo?
Well, we're aimed to assist, and I'm gonna let the whole leader speak here.
Well, we're very appreciative of them. They're actually doing all the legwork to bring in the business into the city of Laredo. And then, of course, it depends which hotel they want to choose to stay at. But, I mean, overall, the communication is very good. There's always, a good relationship with CVB. So I can only say the best, that, they do a great job.
No, I know.
And then their team is just so small. It's just amazing how much y'all really are able to bring in, and it's a lot.
It's amazing.
Being that they're a small crew, they're
And then we're just getting highlights, can you imagine?
yeah.
Yeah, we
So they're down to 1 or 2 again, so.
And I just adding to,
What did you do?
commenting on the size of our team. We have 2 positions that we are going to open. Last year, as you know, we had one person move to a different department and one person retiring. We haven't been able to get those positions back because we wanted to change the description of the position. We wanted to make sure that we got the positions that we needed for this moment in time, which is definitely sales. We need somebody for sales, and we need another person for marketing. And so based on that, we worked with human resources in reclassifying and designing those positions. And I can say that we're finally there, and so we're gonna post 2 positions in the next few weeks. So if you know of anybody that might be interested in becoming part of our team, we're looking for a media coordinator who's gonna be working with our media outlets in placing ads, generating content, and we're also looking for a salesperson that's gonna help us, especially in the sports market. And I have to say, we're very blessed that community has a lot of people that are interested in bringing their events here, and we work with them. We would not be able to do anything without, there's great people in the community that are working to also bring their conference, their sports tournaments. I had a meeting yesterday with UISD on that, and they're doing a great job on bringing more tournaments, and we're working together, and so that, I think it's a great opportunity. But yeah, we're gonna have 2 positions opening very, very soon, so if you know of anybody that might be interested in becoming part of our team, send them our way.
That's good. I mean, you travel a lot, obviously, you're probably just covering a lot of the territory, and I'm sure you needed to do that, but I think there's gotta be somebody just full-time doing it.
Definitely, and Joel and I have been doing it for a long time. Selena was helping us, now that Selena is no longer part of the team. Joel and I have to divide ourselves, and obviously, we're here for the operation also, so we wanna make sure now Reina is doing traveling too. So, we wanna, exactly, so, the traveling team. So we wanna make sure that we are promoting Laredo, but we're not leaving neglecting anything in the office. So having somebody that's fully dedicated to sales is gonna definitely, and hopefully is the first of more people. That's definitely an area in our department that needs to grow, sales, and hopefully this person is the first of many.
Yeah, because the city continues to grow, so then, LCDD has to grow with it as well to be able to capture more business.
Yes, and we have so many opportunities now that we have new venues coming in for sports. The sports complex, the natatorium, the tennis courts at TAMU. There's so many venues for sports, the soccer complex that's coming. So many venues that are gonna bring just a lot of more opportunity for Laredo to grow in the sports tournament side. So we're very excited about servicing that too.
So, I mean, when y'all go out and try to bring in the business, what is the catch? Like, what do most of these organizations, whether it's sports, or what is it that
attracts them to come to Laredo? Is there one, one particular thing? Is it the culture, the food? Because it's kind of hard to believe it's the buying or the products that we sell. I mean, we sell unique items, but
Yeah,
do
Walmart.
people, and we have very few
Walmart.
specialty, very few specialty stores. So I just kind of wonder, what is the catch that y'all are able to bring these? Fruits?
What's the attraction?
Yeah.
It all depends on the market. For example, I can say for Mexico, it is,
We have 4 Walmarts.
yes. For Mexico, it is a 4 Walmarts and the H-E-B's and Target and Ross. For different communities, it's a different thing. So depending on who we're meeting, it all depends on who we're meeting is how we craft the message. So in the Reverse Mexico Sales Mission, where we sit with 10 or 20 different travel agents, it all depends on what the travel agent needs. When I sat with media, I had to change my spiel every person because it all depends on the media outlet. But in general, I think it's to answer the question in general, I believe it's the culture, the food, the history. The history is a big draw because we're very unique in that side.
Yes, we
And
are.
so the culture, the food, and the history is what attracts their attention. And then we can add, and we have birding, but we already have the culture. We already got them with the history. We already got them with the food. And then we add, and we have great events, and we have great outdoor activities, and you can kayak on the Rio Grande, and you can do this, and you can do that. But that main grab is definitely the food, the culture, and the history.
Well, I think we're forgetting one little thing too called the trade industry because
yes,
honestly, people
yes.
honestly, from our standpoint, from the chamber, from what we've seen in the chamber, the people that are coming to visit us, the people that are coming to talk to other people, do business here, are coming because of the trucking industry. They're coming to build warehouses, they're coming to look at real estate, they're coming to look at investments. And now with the Bridge 4 and 5 deal, which now I heard is on hold for a minute, but all those people, there's people coming from Mexico to talk about investments here. There's people coming from, that's why I was asking about the other states, because something of which you might see in Colorado is because of the oil industry here too. People are looking at what's gonna happen over here with the oil industry. And because our rules are different, our state taxes are different from California, from other places.
There's no state
The
income.
attraction right now is Texas. And people are in Austin, in Houston, and Dallas, those saturated metro areas that are already full, overpopulated, are almost burning people out. Where they want someplace where there's only a Walmart, And they're probably like, I want to get out of here. So this is why it's so important to work together with people like the chambers, because now we have 2. I don't know how much the Hispanic chamber's doing, but I know they're around. But to deal with that,
We have representation from both chambers.
You're what?
I'm part of the Hispanic
Oh, you're
Chamber.
part of the Hispanic chamber? Answer your phones, because they're calling, nobody answers the phone.
¿Cómo que no?
No, ¿cómo que no? Call 10 times.
Maybe you're dialing.
Yes, thank you so much for.
Thank you,
coming.
Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you.
Have a good day,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
But the important thing is that the business industry right now is what's gonna bring people to the city. It's not, we don't have a water park, we don't have fancy spas, we don't have, let's face it, let's be realistic. We have good restaurants and people like our restaurants, but the reality is people are coming in to do business. And that's one thing that's probably going to grow. And we see that right off the bat, if you look at the taxes and what's being collected, a lot of it is because of people going in and out. That's why they're looking at billing more for, traffic and transportation, trailers and all that, which the trucking companies are fighting, because that's a big issue. That's why we were all in Washington. That's why all those people were in Washington last 2 weeks ago. I didn't know about this, to be honest with you, but in dinners that we sat down with them, they were sharing all the problems because the government does see that there's a big deal there. A lot of money to be made out of that industry.
And I think the real estate is still relatively okay. You go to Austin, or San Antonio, it is incredible.
Yeah.
And
Is that a fire alarm? No? Should we?
Is that
No,
a-
it's
So we
a,
run?
Refrigerator's very
at the
good.
fridge.
So we run.
We're being bugged.
I know.
We completely agree, and and the reports agree with what you're saying. That's why when we saw, when we started dividing our map, we wanted to divide the map in regions. We considered West Laredo, even though you would think maybe the golf course is there, there's not a lot of what you would think attractions for the visitors. But it's the whole industry, it's most of it, it's Mines Road, is the bridge. So we see a lot of that traffic from Dallas and Houston going to West Laredo, which means it's most of the industry going that way. So we definitely, we agree, we want to, that is something that we've seen in the report and we're sharing with the agency is how do we attract more of that? And how do we tell them that there's other things in Laredo
Well,
and
and
not
the thing is
just
that it's not just up to you,
shopping?
because quite honestly, that's a big burden to put on tourist agencies. But I think that's where I say that we have to work together with the council, with the commissioners, because they need to know that honestly, you know, we need to enhance the quality of life here to make people want to come. We don't have enough people to work here. I mean, that's a given. People are cutting hours. I mean, all the pharmacies right off the bat announced they're cutting their hours because they don't have enough personnel.
I know.
You know, I know that we have a problem. We have 200 openings right now in Laredo.
Wow.
So it's, you know, it's ridiculous. And the reality is, good luck finding 3 people, because, I mean, we had 4 apply for a job that I'm opening. It's a higher end position. 2 of them didn't show up to the interview. They just didn't show up. You know, so I don't know what's going on in that culture right now, in that environment, but people are just not wanting to work. You know, so that's the other issue we have, and especially coming to Laredo. You know, we have a problem attracting a lot of our main office has been moved to San Antonio because that type of job they don't want to come here to Laredo for that. And that's a problem we have with healthcare. Doctors, we can't get enough doctors to come here because the wives show up with the kids, it's like, no,
Culture shock.
that's your part, that's the only part you've got. You know, I think it's just not. So, like I said, not on you, but on the city and really our just the way we're focused on our strategies to improve our way of life here. I think and the art side, all those things are good. I think you can see that happening, you can see that already. And I think that's also important to point out that summertime, we have a lot of theater groups that are doing a lot of stuff. I think we need to promote that too, because when we did our stuff in the summer and we put a sign up at your place, we get your people show up to the center. You know, we put up the banners, which you all are allowing us to put up banners for each event. We're signing them up because we're trying to improve heads to beds, and they're coming from La Posada. So if that were to happen with all the hotels and do some sort of publicity to all the hotels, and that they see that there is stuff happening here, I think that would also kind of resonate better with people that are maybe contemplating coming, and maybe some that drank the water, like Mr. DeWalt here. You know, but you know, I think it's important that people see that there is something about our environment here that is. You know, I think once people are here, they like it here. You know, they want to stay here. That happened with Dr. Tyler King. He was here because of the medical school program. And look at what happened. He became city councilman. You know, I mean, really, that was because he liked it here. There are several doctors that are staying now, and that's why we invested in that whole program to bring that medical school program to Laredo, because we knew that once they come here, once they get a feel of it, when they realize there's a really hometown environment here, they'll be a little more, you know, endeared to it, and that's hopefully what happens. It just takes a while.
And we were very excited to participate. We did, Juan and I drove several, they're looking for where to do their residency. So LMC, they called us and they said, hey, can you give them a tour of the city and show them around? They're looking for their location to do their residence, and they're considering Laredo. And so we were happy to tour. There was 2 full vans of candidates, and we were very happy to show them all around. They had great questions on what to do, restaurants, attractions, quality of life. And so we were happy to be part of that, so that we can tell them before they decide, hey, we do have things, we do have. and hopefully we can be part of more of those.
So somebody mentioned a while ago about the schools. I think our school districts are doing very well. I mean, unless I don't know something, or if you've heard something that I haven't heard. But I know that somebody said about, they came here and then they say the
Leslie, that
school.
would know more.
No, I don't, I'm not sure.
He's very close to one of the.
I'm very close to one of the board members, yes. Sleep with it. But no, I didn't hear that comment. I don't even make the comment. I don't know what comment it was.
So there's something about the school districts. Because
Like the
they
quality of
come-
education?
Yeah, they come over here and say the school district was, as far as I can tell, I know that I have my daughter-in-law's a school teacher, my son works at LC, so, I mean, you look at those things and look at the merger between LC and RGV, in the Valley UT RGV, I mean, there are things that are happening, that need to be taken into consideration, that is really, really very, very important, to education. So, I mean, it's, one of the things that I've heard, in London, I wonder what it is that they see, about the school districts, but they are high up there.
Well, and that's one thing that I encourage all of these years members, is to share this information with your council person. I know I meet with Alyssa once, maybe every 2 months, but I show her this, and I give her the heads up on what's going on this end, because she needs to know what she needs to do on her end to make this better.
And
to
everybody
improve
does
this.
on
So
council.
I'm sure you all do the same thing, you all meet with your council person at some point to discuss this with them, because that's the only way, I mean, that's what we're here, basically as a liaison, to let them know what's going
We're
on.
their representatives, here.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
and-
yeah.
I have a question.
I'm sure she doesn't like getting together with me. like-
Is it safe to say that like our committee goes hand in hand with other committees, like the Economic Development Committee? Because when y'all are talking about people moving here, would that be something with the improving quality of life? Because I know like we have some friends in the Economic Development Committee, and I don't know, I feel like at times it's kind of difficult to try to execute their plan for the city, because it's like when we compare ourselves to McAllen, it seems like McAllen is really outdoing us, and we're kind of just staying a little bit behind. And I don't know, it's just a million questions, like, what are they doing right that we're not?
It's strategies, and I think that's the difference, because we have people that serve on the boards at McAllen from our bank, and when you compare their strategies, it's just different.
There's
It's just
the
more
UTRGV
there's a-
partnership.
Yeah, there's
There's
more,
more partnership there, yeah.
yeah, there's more partnerships there, and at some point, I'll be honest with you, I think the city and chamber and private sector were working in silos. And now we're coming a little bit more together. That's why I was so happy at the DC trip to see that the city, people like Miriam there, thank God, Miriam is economic development, and she was opening that door for us, Rosario, all the people that are there, the council members are like, are you coming to this meeting, are you coming to that meeting? Whereas before, we were told, no, there's no meeting, and we were being, they're like, they didn't want us there. And now they do, they want everyone to be in partnership, so I think those are things that are very positive for us, and hopefully those partnerships will, but see, it's up to us too to be aggressive about that and use some initiative to get in there and share. And like you said, if you've got friends in economic development, sit down and talk to them about what's going on this end, and share it with them too.
I know that on our side, actually, the one that was calling me right now was Medium from Economic Development.
Yeah, tell her we're getting better do a good job. We're pumping her
You're
up.
absolutely right about, those communities in the valley working together. My son-in-law is the port director in Brownsville. And so he covers a large area, and they have meetings, all of the organizations. And he was here in Laredo for 20-some odd years, and then he got promoted, and he's at the port director. He says, everything is so different here, because everybody works together in unison. And in Laredo, we didn't. And so, talking about what the difference is, I think that's the difference. All organizations over there, you can start with government, city, county, the business community, they all work together.
Like, how do you get to that point?
Yeah.
How do you get to that point? Because there's a lot of individualism.
Well,
And
one of the
there's
things that
some people that say,
yeah.
no,
I
I'm not
think-
gonna budge, I'm
I
gonna.
think the younger set that are coming in with less paranoia
It's very
and
tough.
more gadget to work. You know, I'm sad that I'm already on my way out, because I'm 61, so I was like, yeah, bye,
Oh
you know,
my God.
I'm already going.
Bye.
But the new group that are coming in, I think, you know, I'm trying to encourage young people to get more involved and be a part of that, because I think there is a possibility. I think they're dropping all of those silos and kind of saying, hey, who cares about, you know, and there were a lot of egos involved at one point and things like that, that were just detrimental to the whole process.
Yeah, they try to keep just a certain group, you know.
I think everyone's working a lot better now. I really see a light at the end of the tunnel. So use that in my eulogy. Right before he
I
died,
promise.
I saw a light at the end of the tunnel.
He was a good man.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I may, I think there's, I agree with what Gabriela is saying in terms of leadership is changing. And we have some younger leaders that are maybe a little bit more open to that consensus building. And it's leadership. We need leadership that's willing to take that as a banner and say, I can build consensus and that's what I want to do. Not just lip service to that.
Yeah.
But we are getting away from the agenda.
No, we're
So-
a little bit.
One of the things that, I think it's important to mention, we do have a group that we get together once a month, which is Port Laredo. So Economic Development, Bridge, Airport, and CBB, we get together, we meet every month, and we go through different items of promotion, of how we can better promote the port. So if at one point you hear of something that might be interesting, where you think we might not be collaborating, and you think it would be interesting for us to collaborate with with Economic Development, just let me know. Miriam and I talk almost every day, and we try to tackle things in a different way. So
Yeah,
we're
'cause
open
it's-
to
Because it's
to
like,
the feedback.
and this is just like my observation and opinion. I kind of feel like with the tourism, we are trying to attract people to come to Laredo. But I feel like the issue is more internal than external. Just kind of going back where, I don't know, Laredoans just seem, they don't want to see other people succeed. And I've seen it in the bar industry, the restaurant industry, where instead of supporting one another, sharing ideas, they just kind of wish that, you know, they fall flat on their face, or vice versa. Like when we created Pride Month, it was a little, you know, challenging, but now we're working together, and it's like where I work with a lot of like nonprofit organizations like Laredo Film Society, Laredo Border Slam, the Rio Grande International Studies Center. And so pretty much what I preach to them is if we work together, we create a greater impact. Exactly, so kind of mirroring what Gabriela and Tacita said, yeah, working together, we could create that bigger impact. But yeah, that's just what I want.
It takes time, you know, I think that it's going that way, you know, from what I hear, you know, it's going that way, but it takes a little bit of time, people
I
need to be.
wholeheartedly agree with that, yes.
I'll pass
We
that
need
off
to
to
be a little
members
bit
of the
patient,
group
you
by
know,
I think we have to publicize more working together. We're talking here, but nobody writes, maybe on social media, I don't know. Nobody writes a letter to the editor or something that says, let's work together, cabrones. You know, let's work together. How many have applied for the Chamber of Commerce executive director position?
Nobody.
No
Nobody?
one.
I call over there and they say, but we're just running it. I see the ad 3 times. But nobody from over there calls the media, or I don't do social media, but don't and say, hey, we have 3 applicants, and here are the 3 applicants. You have 2. How much do those pay? The first thing that, if I walk around town and I say, hey, there's a job open at Convention Visitor Bureau, how much does it pay?
Go
Can
find
you
out.
tell me?
I don't have it with me at this moment, but I can tell you. I can.
Yeah, you know, some of those
It's
things.
minimum wage.
As
for
soon
sure.
as we open it, we can provide that information.
Well, I thought it was already open.
No,
Oh,
we are opening them in the next few weeks.
yeah, you know, because a lot of these things, you know, Chamber of Commerce, I'm still waiting for the Latin, Chamber of Commerce, whatever that is.
Hispanic,
It's what?
Hispanic, the Latin, what?
It's Hispanic?
Hispanic.
They're not
Oh,
Latin.
you ask for information, and it takes them forever and a day.
Call Jerry Gaza.
And it's not transparent. we have to be more transparent, and that's a crazy word, right? Transparency, everybody wants transparency, but we don't get it. We don't get it. I love it when you read something in the paper and they say, I didn't know that. I didn't know that job paid that much. I didn't know that job was open. I didn't know that. I didn't know there's 5 positions open. Give me the numbers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they say, hey, run the salary. I says, why not? The
Don't you
public
have a
is,
range,
you know,
right?
Yeah,
Depending on the-
all the positions in the city,
They have a
unless
range.
it's a very specific position,
yeah,
and the
you know,
director position, all the positions in the city are on we actually
On the high side.
do not publish positions in our website. Every position in the city is on the city website under human resources, and it has all the information,
Yeah,
description.
Most of the government,
Uh-huh.
jobs and everything, you gotta go into the actual agency to look
Yeah.
for open
Yeah.
positions.
Or, there's a website called governmentjobs.com where you can find every government job, in the country, basically, so.
I'm sad to hear that
Really
there's
rare.
nobody wanting the Chamber of Commerce executive director.
Mhm.
I mean, that could be a hell of a job, and it's a very important job.
Yeah, with the right person, with the right qualities, with the right skills. That's the problem, I think, when you look at all of them, you know, and we're not on the job training. I don't, you know, that's the thing, is that we don't want that, because we don't have time for that. It has to be someone with all the qualifications, the experience, you know, the resources, and, you know, I think that's why, because I've had people ask me about the job. But once they hear it, you know, I think that's the other part too. You don't wanna be, you know, that's what happens here too. We hire people, well, más o menos they fit the bill, you know.
Más o
You can't
menos,
have-
it's not
It's
gonna-
unfair to them, and it's unfair to the organization, whatever it is, you know, to put them through that,
There's
because,
also like job fairs, like, I think recently UISD, had like 200 positions open for teachers and teacher aides and so forth. So they had an actual job corps, or like a job, applications day. And so whoever's interested, they'll go and apply there. I think that's a good thing, if you have that amount of positions open.
but
It's-
I mean, the newsflash, people don't wanna work. People do not want to
A lot of
work.
people get.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's another thing we're kidding ourselves about people, I mean,
Yeah.
TikTokers.
we have people that, you know,
I'll
do
give
the
you a
job.
good example. I called Parks and Recreation. I found out that the athletic director, assistant athletic director at LISD had left. Jaime Ramirez. So I heard that he was working for Parks and Recreation, and Lorena Negron says, yeah, he's been working with us for 2 months. Have you publicized it? Jaime Ramirez is now our assistant public, Park and Recreation. No.
No,
Pues
because
Ave Maria.
he might be gone in 2 months.
Do we have to ask
We
for
don't
everything?
we don't
He's
use
still
employees,
there.
no, we
He's
can't use
still
employees
there.
on your ads anymore, because, I mean, we're gonna spend on that ad and they might not be with us in 6 months because people don't wanna work. Fast food restaurant, we're talking about entry-level positions, that people were supposedly would need these jobs. I know for a fact, fast food restaurants are hiring older people, retired people, because those are the ones they can count on.
Yeah,
It used to
more
be that you used to
reliable.
hire high schoolers and college people, because that was the deal, that was the way to go.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who's at Walmart welcoming you?
Older people.
Yeah,
Welcome to
because,
Walmart.
yeah, because, you know, that's gonna be my next job, I don't know. I'm good at wiping the cars and saying.
I think that's what our Dallas visitors love Walmart, because it's welcoming, reminds them of home.
You're still gonna be Main Street.
It's funny.
Madam Chair, on page 21, if I may, we have our 3-month upcoming activity. I believe the Canadian Produce Marketing Association, for the text that I just received, got canceled, but everything else is, if I have read correctly, but everything else is still happening. Right now, as you know, last year was recognized as a tourism summit, raising Emerging tourism star, I'm sorry. And so this year, she's participating again as a mentor for an emerging star for 2023. So she's going to eTourism Summit, and we have several events coming. Laredo's hosting the annual LULAC State Conference and Expo, and we have one event that we're really excited is IPW. And that is an event that where Brand USA and the U.S. Travel Association, they bring media, travel agents, and any kind of tourism-related entity to the U.S. to promote all the different destinations in the country. Texas has a good representation, and this year, after 20 years, this is the first time in 20 years that Texas is hosting. So we're all really excited about it. It's in San Antonio, which makes it even better for us. So we are participating as part of the closing event. The Texas Travel, which is the Office of the Governor, is hosting the closing event on Wednesday of that week. And we're participating with them with a booth. Birds and Beer, and we're having a lot of great ideas for the exhibition. We've been working with Texas Travel on that, and so we expect to see 2,500 people go by our booth and learn more about Laredo.
I'm gonna suggest that when you put out your new ads for people, put travel to Vegas, travel to Tampa.
Yeah,
You'll get more people applying. And then you only get to travel. Yeah, try some of that.
It actually counts for like 60% travel, so they'll travel everywhere.
When I travel to Red Bank, I was like at the airport.
I know.
We're not gonna say that in the ad.
I know.
We're not gonna say we got delayed. Her plane, she had the plane that we were leaving.
I heard what happened.
She kept the plane in Dallas, and then
I
the
think
plane we
that
were
is
using to
right.
go to Dallas for Washington, so, yeah, it was a little bit delayed, just like 4 hours.
Just
Just 4 hours.
4 hours.
Just had to wake up at 4 in the morning. But yeah, no, we're not gonna put that up there. But no, we appreciate all the feedback, and I'll let you know as soon as the positions are open. So if you know of anybody,
And how is registration going for Sister Cities?
it's great, we're almost
Well,
full, yeah,
Okay.
and so, we're excited.
That's awesome.
And
it
even,
always happens.
So this board member should get me a good place, a good booth, location.
You were at the
Wink, wink.
yeah, well,
You're with NBC, right?
yes.
Is that what
There's
happened?
other banks that get.
But you were
sometimes
right there,
better.
right as soon as you walk in, you're right there.
Yes, you're always at the end.
Next to another bank, but that's okay.
Nice to see you.
We'll make sure they're on different sides of the aisle. Yeah, we're excited, about Sister Cities. We're putting a lot of our effort on that. Last year went really well, so we wanna make sure it goes
And
as
this
smoothly
year is
as
gonna be even better. I mean,
we expect that.
I
And
try to go every year, you know, even if it's just for a little while, but I do make it.
Well, I want you to know that we appreciate everything that you all do, and I know the staff works very hard. I know some of the people, and especially when you're short-staffed, that's gonna be another challenge that you have to face. So I know those burdens always come to play. But I really do honestly share with Alyssa all the good things that, come from this meeting, and I explained to her how, what you're working on, what goals you have, how good you are at listening. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But, and I think she's also very receptive to hearing more, and that's why now she's the one who calls on me too, says, are we gonna meet? So like I said, I like those positive, outcomes from meetings like that, because then she looks to us to hear more. So I think that's important, because, we literally meet on a Sunday, and she comes to the office and we sit there for 2 hours and talk, hash out this and other things that come up and other things that happen. So I really recommend that everyone do that, because I think our council people are ready for that, but we need to make that initiative. They're busy, they've got a lot on their plate, but if you open that door, they'll walk in, I promise you. all of them. It's not just, this one, but I think they're all very receptive, things like that.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate that communication because we do our part communicating to the council member, but it's really important that it comes also from you.
Mhm.
You have the perspective from your,
Yeah, because when you come with challenges or things
Yeah.
that you need, they have that background that, okay,
They
well,
already
how are,
know.
they, yeah. you're
They already
already-
understand.
already
They have-
know, It's
exactly.
not just you talking, not just you know.
I mean,
it's-
so if you go
they
before
know
the
what's
city
good.
council, I mean, you know what you're talking about, so.
yeah, and we're gonna, we're going to city council in the next few months for different things, so we'll let you know.
Yeah, you let us know, we'll.
We appreciate all the support.
Ahí vamos a estar.
Do we move to adjourn?
Okay, so.
Oh, sorry.
now, just a
Oh,
second.
sorry.
What's wrong with you?
Our next meeting is for May 4th. And do we have any other announcements to bring to our meeting or discussions that we need to bring up to date? Before we adjourn our meeting, or good meeting, I think we had a very, we slid off a little bit on the agenda, but we got back on track now.
Well, yes, because some things come
It's
up
good
as,
information,
members
yeah.
ask questions and we have to have it ready.
And we'll have this report, I put up the 2022, but we'll do a monthly report on visitation and a little bit more detail. I wanted to show you what we got for 2022, but we'll bring this report specific to the previous month in every agenda.
I think these, towns, you know, this, it's hard for me to read it.
It was sent to you via email, so
Yeah.
it's available via email in color.
In color,
Yes, this is just a copy.
all right.
Mhm.
I also have one thing to consider, it doesn't have to happen, but I like Jorge's idea and taking from a thought that he expressed a little while ago about the Economic Development Committee. Maybe we could consider joining CVB and Economic Development for a special, like, one-time meeting
That would be good.
in the future,
Definitely.
at a future date, so that we can hear from their department and their staff
Sure.
and vice versa, and the committee members can,
Talk about
Maybe
coming
we could
together.
invite them to one of our meetings or something.
I'll
or it
talk
could
about
be a
logistics to
joint,
see.
a joint session
Yeah.
perhaps, I don't know if that's even possible.
Okay,
but-
yeah.
I'll check, I'll definitely, bring it back to management. I know, I think, or at least with the previous director, that they had their meeting the same day at the same time. So it might be feasible, but I'll check with management and bring it back.
Are you in the economic development committee?
No, a friend is,
Oh.
yeah.
So he brings you all the,
Yeah, he joined about 2 years ago, and so, it's something that he's really passionate about. He actually ran for District 5, 2 years ago, Amy Rocha, and, well, that's why I never more. And so, yeah.
Rochas restaurant?
Yes, yes. Yeah, and then also I think Julian's on there, and he's the one that's representing District 8, and so with the whole like downtown area also. Yeah, so it's just something that, interesting, some of the things they say.
Very
Well,
good.
it's
No,
good, I mean,
I'll
and I think that we can all
definitely-
get together and share.
That would be a good idea.
I mean, I know you have an ordinance and you have to keep to your ordinance
Yes.
here at this department. So I don't even, like I said, I don't even know if it's possible, but
I don't know if they have, but we'll check.
yeah,
We'll check.
whatever the governing rules allow.
And any comments from the guests?
I do have a couple, if I may.
Observations?
Yes, yes. First of all, y'all are awesome. Kudos. Each of
Amen.
you just add such a wonderful perspective, and you bring this together in a very beautiful way. So it was very eye-opening, and I really appreciate all your hard work. I was going to respond to your question, because I'm a weather person.
Okay.
So you mentioned what would lure teams or the pony to come here, and I think it's the low rainfall. They don't have to reschedule games, that's my guess, because we have, 14 to 16 inches annually.
Yeah.
So, yes, the heat is a factor, but you're not rescheduling, and most of the time the weather permits for the games to be played. I have a second, now this is a question. I was thinking about the comment, I think Eileen, you said that Mall del Norte is the big draw and that they go to Walmart and so forth. So I was thinking, because the outlet shops are so beautiful and there's much to do, but they're not in the central area, very conveniently located. So I was wondering if Mall del Norte would be offended if there were a shuttle service available from Mall del Norte to the outlets.
Well,
Is that available, or is that too
Same company.
competitive?
So CBL
Yeah.
owns, is equity partner here,
Part of the same.
so they're part of the same organization, so probably not. Yeah, it'd probably be possible.
Well, I was just saying, because they probably don't know, or, I would, because the outlets.
I would like to clarify that there is a big connection. So we
there
see a very, like all the bands, and I don't know if you're able to see, but they're very thin. But the thicker one is
Okay.
actually mall to outlet.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So
I hadn't
there
heard
is,
that.
there is a big
Right.
connector, so people are going from the mall to the outlet
That is great.
in a larger rate than they're going from the mall to anywhere else. So that connection already, even though there's no shuttle, that connection already exists.
So do you have that, do you have like, just a crazy idea that I'm following up on this is, I was thinking about the wonderful parts that people don't know too much about, from the Water Museum to the Paseo del Indio Trail and all these, like, are there packaged tours for people already that exist? So if a person does walk into the mall, there's a kiosk, and there's pamphlets, like here's one type of tour available for this amount of money. Or maybe you can do a package for the schools. It brings in the money, so forth, including maybe basket imports, a stop there. So I was thinking the Water Museum, then if they wanted to do a trail, basket imports, birding, whatever it might be. And I was just thinking about a pamphlet or a brochure or something that might.
We don't have kiosks at the mall, but we have a visitor app. So in the application, you can see all the different attractions. We also have on our website suggestions of tours around the city. And Reina's working with the app and the website on other ideas for, when you mentioned the taco trail, the
Yes.
coffee tour, now putting them on a digital tour. So we do have that. Unfortunately, there is no company in Laredo that provides specific tours. But we do have all the information for people to take advantage of on our website and here at a visitor
And
center.
the people in Canada, because I'm envisioning many of them might be, those are whatever that go to Zapata, that's an older age group, are they app people?
We have printed materials for them, we have maps, we have all the information.
I was just curious because, you know,
They're very good questions, definitely.
well,
Yeah.
Definitely.
that's what I'm
I really
thinking.
like that idea with the tour, use the trolley.
Unfortunately, we cannot use a trolley, but I would love if there was somebody that would do, like a private sector, an entity, a group that would do that. We cannot use because of the way the law works with federal funds and the way that the trolley was purchased. We cannot use a trolley if there's another company that provides those services, like a Tornado or a
Which is
Cougar.
gonna be a great business idea then.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, because I remember like in New York, we would get on a bus and we'll travel a lot.
Oh, you do the hop on, hop offs? I love those.
Yeah.
That's the best way to see it.
Yeah, we saw where John Lennon unfortunately got shot, but I mean, I was a kid when I saw that.
I took that tour too. I did that
This is like 1993, I was not.
Well, and my last comment, there is a property available, it's off of Mines Road somewhat, and it's close to La Boca Ranch, but the gentleman who bought it, Mr. Khan, he's having issues, he wanted to do warehouse development, but I'm hearing now he wants to sell it. So I was like, wow, this is a perfect, maybe, idea for the city to look at taking over the property. And then I was like, but how would it help? I mean, you don't want truckers coming in there, I mean, but I was trying, because you're mentioning the trade. That's what I was thinking, and what could be put there to facilitate that trade industry without it being, you know, a parking area, but something very what you're looking for to bring interest to, like your trade people, for example. But I don't know, I'm just sharing that because that is a beautiful location, possibly, for some consideration, and I don't know, just throwing that out there. That's according to our city councilwoman, Ms. Bettis showed that.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, very good. So, that pretty much completes our
I'd like to
meeting.
move that we adjourn the meeting.
I
Chair,
second.
Thank you very much for chairing this meeting.
Go.
Meeting has adjourned. Thank you all for being here.